The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 244. Get Real, episode number 56. So let's get real. Here's why you might hate being thin after losing weight. Hello and welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the kick-ass, amazing Inner Self Diet, my proven proprietary step-by-step system to struggle-free weight loss from the inside out. The Inner Self Diet is my proven proprietary step-by-step system that I have been coaching amazing clients through since 2009, and it frickin' works every time. But, there's a big but, and you don't have to have a fat butt to have this butt applied to you. The big but is the Inner Self Diet only works if you work it. Alright? Yeah! The Inner Self Diet doesn't work for anybody, including myself, who doesn't work it. But isn't it really like that with anything in life? I mean, you can have the best tools on the planet for how to build the perfect log cabin, and if you never pick up those tools and you never use them and you don't take the action and you don't do the work, then what kind of results will you get? Yep, same thing with the Inner Self Diet. Works every time as long as you work it, and it never works for anybody who doesn't do it. So the folks who sit on the outside and they listen to the testimonials of my clients who stop binge eating, stop emotional eating, stop struggling, they achieve a healthy relationship with food, a healthy relationship with themselves, a healthy relationship with their body, they release the fat, they keep it off over time, of course. Nobody expects to drop 80 pounds in 8 weeks, right? I mean, unless you have a fatal disease, we don't wish that on anybody, of course. But yeah, if you're dropping 1 to 2 pounds of fat per week consistently from living a healthy lifestyle, then you are doing fantastic. But the problem is that in order to consistently live a healthy lifestyle and allow 1 to 2 pounds of fat to drop from your body every week, you got to have the mindset for it. That is 92.8% of the challenge right there. That is why I coach my amazing clients through the Inner Self Diet, because if you don't have the right mindset, you don't have squat. You're never going to be able to stick with the healthy lifestyle plan. I know this from my own experience. My clients know it from their experience, because the amazing, smart women and a few cool men who I coach and have been coaching since I started this whole coaching shtick, whatever you call it, my professional coaching in 2009, the people that I work with, they already know exactly what they need to do to release the fat. Okay? They know so much about eating and exercise, they could teach a class on it. The problem is they're not doing it. They're blocked. They can't see their own blind spots. Nobody can see their own blind spots. That's why I still hire coaches to help me with stuff, because I've got blind spots. I always want to go to the next level in different areas of my life. I continue to pay the money, invest the time, do the work, get the coaching, get the feedback, so that I can move beyond the things that I cannot see that are stopping me. That's why you got to have objective coaching with a results-getting coach who actually knows what they are doing. And hey, before I go on with today's special Get Real episode, if you've never tuned in for one of my Get Real episodes, you're not going to like it if you're not willing to get real with yourself. So if you're not willing to get real with yourself, exit now. I'm just telling you, because my Get Real episodes are more, I guess you could say, to the point than my other episodes. And yeah, if you want to stay in your haze of denial, which, hey, a lot of people are there. I've been there before too, but it won't ever get you the results of struggle-free permanent success with your weight if you stay there. But if you want to stay there, don't listen to any more of this episode because you're not going to like it. Just telling you. This is Get Real episode number 56 of the JoLynn Braley Show. Since I began the JoLynn Braley Show in the first week of January 2013, I believe it was. I'm pretty sure it was 2013, not 2012. I think it was 2013. I have been doing one Get Real episode per month since then. And today is Get Real episode number 56. But before I go on, okay, if you've never listened to one of my shows before, make sure that you head on over to fearlessfatloss.com/show-bonus and grab my free 5-day e-course. It will help you answer the question, is your mindset fit or fat? I'll give you a hint right now. If you've got a fat mindset, you're struggling with food and your weight, and you're either binge eating or emotional eating or both, or you're obsessed with food, you have an unhealthy relationship with food, you say you want to lose weight, but you can't stop eating. Hey, millions of people are in that boat. You don't have to stay there though. But remember, 92.8% of the problem is your mindset. You got to get the core transformation from the inside out in order to have the ability to stick consistently with a healthy lifestyle so that you can then drop the physical fat from your body. You see, the physical fat and your out of control eating, those are only symptoms of a much bigger problem, and that problem can only be healed through your inner self. It's all within you. And if you don't know how to do that, then you can start by just learning a little bit more in my free 5-day e-course. Once again, that you can find that at www.fearlessfatloss.com/show-bonus. You can sign up there. Like I said, it will help you discover if your mindset is fit or fat, and also tell you what your next step is if you really want to do something about it. All right, so today's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, like I said, it is Get Real episode number 56 of the JoLynn Braley Show, and we are going to get real about why you might actually hate being thin after losing weight. Now remember, I warned you, you're not going to like this if you don't want to take a really hard look at yourself, okay? But I'll tell you something, you will never, ever, 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 ever achieve permanent weight loss if you're not willing to get real with yourself, get honest with yourself, take 100% full and complete badass personal responsibility for yourself, for your thoughts, for your experiences, for the fat on your body, for the food you eat, for everything, all right? Bottom line, no one is to blame for your overeating and your overweight. And this is a real tough pill to swallow if you are used to blaming everybody else and everything else outside of yourself for your food and weight problems. Okay, and if you are like that, congratulations for listening to my voice right now and being willing to hear this and get real with yourself. You don't have to stay in that place. You got to move out of that place if you want to seriously achieve permanent success with your weight, because if you don't take full personal responsibility for yourself, you can't change. As long as you continue to blame other people and blame the fast food industry or blame your boss or blame your neighbor or blame your husband or blame your mother, blame your father, blame your sister, blame your brother, blame, gosh, there's so many things that people blame. The traffic, the weather, where they live. I could go on and on and on. You can get into really politically incorrect topic areas of what people blame. You know, there's all kinds of things that people are out there blaming. But as long as you continue to blame anything or anyone outside of yourself for your problems, you will never change those problems. Why? Because You have no control over the stuff that you're blaming. You only have control over yourself, over your thoughts, over your emotions, and over your body. Okay? If you don't take full personal responsibility for that stuff, and you keep waiting for somebody else or something else to change so that you can get what you want, you're going to be waiting forever. All right? So that actually ties into why you might hate being thin after losing weight. Because here's the thing, all right? If you actually stick with healthy eating and healthy exercise, and you get to your ideal, fittest, most fantastic weight, guess what's going to happen? You will no longer be able to blame your fat for why your boyfriend left you, or blame your fat for why people don't like you, or blame your fat for why you didn't get the raise at work, or blame your fat for, why you didn't get the mortgage, okay? You won't have that built-in excuse anymore. You will have to look at yourself, okay? Your boyfriend left you because you had a bad attitude, and that has nothing to do with your fat. You didn't get the raise at work because you don't show up completely. It had nothing to do with you being fat, okay? You didn't get the mortgage because you didn't qualify for some reason. It's not because of your body or your weight. All right? Seriously, there are people who blame their mortgage lender for not doing their job because the person is obese or overweight. Seriously. Hopefully you've never done that, but if you have, remember, this is an opportunity to get real with yourself. But see, this is the thing. What will happen is if you really allow yourself to get thin, to get fit, to get down to your healthiest weight, you won't have that excuse anymore. And the only thing that you will be able to look at is yourself. You see what I'm saying? This is why lots of people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, they might lose weight, but they gain it back because it's all a mental game, okay? It is 92.8% mindset. And if you don't get the right mindset to, first of all, achieve struggle-free weight loss and keep it off, and if you don't get the right mindset to feel good about yourself and feel good about your beingness in the world, you know, your communications, your showing up, your relationships, everything that you bring to the table. If you don't get the right mindset to feel absolutely fantastic about yourself, to value yourself, to have high self-esteem, high self-confidence, believe in yourself, all right? Stop blaming anybody else for your problems, right? If you don't get the right mindset for all of this stuff, then you don't have the right mindset to drop the fat and keep it off, because you won't have the ability to stand on your own 2 feet and accept that you might have a really crappy attitude, and that's why people don't like you. It's not because you're overweight. It has nothing to do with it, right? If you have a hard time staying in a relationship, it's probably not because you're overweight. You won't be able to blame that anymore, though, if you get thin and fit, okay? You'll have to really look at yourself and take full responsibility. And that's really, really, really scary for a lot of people, because they don't want to take full responsibility for themselves. They want to keep blaming their fat. They want to blame everybody else. And they want to just keep going through life somehow like, I don't know, like skidding around. Now, hey, remember, listen to me, okay? I have been in the place where I was living with a victim mentality, blaming other people, blaming my parents, all kinds of stuff. Didn't get me anywhere. That's why I can talk to you like I am now, okay? And in the end, you know, everything is a choice. You can completely discount everything I'm sharing with you here on this podcast, or you can pony up and get real with yourself and decide right now that you're going to take 100% full, complete, badass personal responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly that you have created in your life and created on your body. And then you're going to move forward and change anything you want to about yourself. Okay? I highly recommend that you get coaching to make these changes quickly and more easily. But doesn't mean that everything's always going to be easy to make changes, because it is pretty painful to take a real good, honest to goodness, get real, get reeling look at yourself and accept that you screwed up, you know? It's not because you're fat. That's not why you got the problems you have. Are you getting this? Is it making sense? Okay. Hey, I'd love it if you'd come on over to I have an actual Facebook page for this podcast as a dedicated Facebook page. If you go to JoLynnBraleyShow.com, that'll take you over to my Facebook page for this podcast. Click like to like the Facebook page. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you got out of this podcast. It is time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show, and this week's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is www.easyfunweightloss.com. Head on over to www.easyfunweightloss.com. You can grab my free ebook there. It's especially targeted to binge eaters, emotional eaters, and yo-yo dieters who know exactly what they need to do to lose weight, but they're not doing it. You can learn some tips from me, some free tips in that free ebook. They are not your normal tips either for weight loss. It's about the real stuff that is the real problem, and it's the real information that you need if you are really serious about ending your battles with food and your out of control eating and your overweight. You can get that at www.easyfunweightloss.com. All right, questions to ask yourself. On most of the episodes, I think it's all of the episodes, but I could be wrong. It's at least most of the episodes. I give you questions to ask yourself. I highly recommend that you write each question down pen on paper. Why? Because there's a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart when you write pen on paper, and you will never get that connection if you just listen to my voice. You won't get any. All you're doing is listening. I totally agree with Tony Robbins, who says you're never going to listen, or you're never going to learn by just listening. Okay, it just kind of, you might get some, I don't know, like ahas and things, but you won't actually implement. So if you really want to learn, you get out the pen and paper. You don't type on a keyboard, because then you miss out on the connection between the head, the hand, and the heart that occurs when you write pen on paper. And you write each question down, and then you write your answer down to the question. And of course, you can pause the podcast if you need to have time to write the stuff on paper. Okay, first question. You're asking yourself this, am I really taking 100% personal responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly in my life? Everything. Am I taking full 100% badass personal responsibility for everything in my life? Yes or no? Again, pause the podcast if you need time. Second question. If I answered yes to the first question, then what is stopping me from taking full 100% badass personal responsibility for all of my problems, all of the fat on my body, all of my overeating, anything, everything in my life? What exactly is stopping me from taking full responsibility for myself? Question number 3. How often do I blame the fat on my body for why such and such happened? Okay? How often do I use the fact that I got 20, 50, 100, 200 pounds of fat on my body? How often do I use the fat on my body as the excuse for why such and such happened. Okay, the boyfriend left, the husband left, you got fired from your job, you lost your house, you lost your dog, your neighbors hate you, your best friend said they didn't want to ever talk to you again. Whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is. Your basement flooded, okay? So then you blame the basement fixer who was over there and say that he didn't do a good job because you got fat on your body, right? Hey, people do that. People actually blame their fat for everything, all right? Remember, this is Get Real episode number 56 of the JoLynn Braley Show. You must be willing to get real with yourself because you're still listening to my voice right now. So go ahead, answer the question. How often do I use my fat as the excuse? And I blame that for all the stuff in my life, Next question. What are we on, number 4? I might have lost count, but you're keeping count on your paper. Next question. What would happen if I really got thin and stayed thin and I couldn't use my fat for an excuse anymore? What's going to happen? Could I handle it? You remember, you're asking yourself this. Could I really handle it? Or would I have to quickly gain it all back so that I'd have that buffer, I'd have that excuse, that reason, that thing to blame? This is really serious. This is really serious. You know how many people are doing this right now? You know how many people are, and they're not conscious of it. You probably weren't conscious of it before this podcast. But you ain't ever gonna achieve permanent weight loss by continuing on the path of avoiding taking 100% personal badass responsibility for yourself. It's not my rule. It's not like I made this up. It's just, all highly successful people in this world, they take 100% personal responsibility for themselves. Any kind of success in any area of life, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in body, if it's in finances, if it's in business, if it's in spiritual growth, okay? You're not going to achieve high success, great success, sustained success, consistent success without taking 100% personal responsibility for yourself. It's just not going to happen. And it's a very difficult thing to do. That's why a lot of people don't do it. So, last question. Who's my coach? Who is my coach that is helping me to get real with myself? All right? To really, really get beyond my blind spots. To look at the stuff that's really holding me back. You got to have a coach that you have two-way communication with. I mean, this podcast is great. It's awesome. It kicks ass. I get a lot of compliments on it. I have a lot of clients that come from my podcast, and I love my podcast peeps. I love you who's listening to this, because you get me. You would not still be listening to my voice right now if you didn't get me. So I totally love you and appreciate you. But you gotta have it. I mean, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. But if you want to actually end your binge eating, end your emotional eating, end the drama, end the food fears, end the scale fear, end the body hatred, and the self-hatred, and the body abuse, and the food addiction, end this problem so that you can just have a healthy relationship with food, have a healthy relationship with your body, release the fat over time, because it's not going to come off overnight. The trick is, though, when you get the core transformation and you have a weight loss mindset, it doesn't matter that the fat doesn't come off overnight. But you don't understand that unless you have the experience. Words don't teach, only experience teaches. So if you want those kinds of results and you want to get them in less than 20 years, because if you try to do this on your own, I mean, how long have you been trying to fix this on your own? How many years have you been struggling? Did you start struggling like all of my clients and like myself and like really everybody out there? These struggles start when you're a kid. You know, I was 7 when I first started having any struggles with food and my weight, and I wasn't even an overweight kid. It was all in my head though. For a lot of people, they start struggling around adolescence, 10, 12, 14, and then all you got to do is you identify the age you were when you first started struggling. It's not hard to find. Find that age. Either somebody told you that you were fat and you better watch what you're eating, or you just thought you were fat, like I did, or you were having body image issues. You started doubting yourself. You thought you weren't good enough. You started overeating. You started hiding food. However old you were, you know what age you were. And all you do is you take your pen and paper, you write down your age that you are now, and then write down the age you were when you first started struggling, subtract the two, circle the number of that equation, and that's how old this problem is that you're trying to deal with still on your own. So, hey, it's up to you. I mean, again, you don't have to do anything. You can keep going as you are. And if you want to try to figure it out on your own, take another 10 years, take another 20 years, take however long you want. If you want to get it done quickly, my clients who work with me and just follow my instructions and they want to change and they are committed to change and they're open to change and they're excited about it and they're willing to look at themselves, and they take total responsibility for themselves, and they just, follow my steps, just like Holly did back in 2011, she had been out of control with binge eating for over 30 years. Nothing she did, not even therapy. She was in therapy off and on for 7 years. Nothing she did helped her stop her binge eating until she worked with me. And she just followed my steps. This was back in 2011. She was 20 pounds over her healthy weight. She said that she was in a size 12, but they were extremely tight. And she didn't want to buy a size 14. So she did my steps. She stopped binge eating, and she lost the 20 pounds. And guess what? That lady, she's awesome. She still sends me updates all these years later. She has not ever gone back to binge eating. Why? Because she just uses my tools if there's even any kind of a twinge or thought of that. Just uses my tools. And she never gained the 20 pounds back either. Now you could say, if you're listening to this, well, I'm 70 pounds overweight, JoLynn. 20 pounds doesn't sound like anything. The amount of fat that you're carrying around is all relative. It's all still a mind game. I've had clients who came to me and they were what you would call only 5 pounds over their ideal weight, and they had more struggle within themselves than somebody who's 200 pounds overweight and has given up on themselves and has lost all hope. So the amount that you're carrying, the extra fat, that is not you really can't compare that to other people and where they're at. So anyway, yeah, those are the kind of results that my clients get. Holly, like I said, I worked with her back in 2011. That was a pretty long time ago, and to be able to release 30 plus years of binge eating, and she's never gone back to binge eating. And it's just not who she is anymore, and she hasn't gained the 20 pounds back. That's pretty powerful. And it doesn't take 10 or 20 years to get those results either. My clients, most of them are struggle free in 8 weeks or less. Some of them it takes a couple more weeks, but what is it that you really want? You know how fast eight weeks goes by? And then when you look at how many years you've been struggling with this problem on your own, yeah. So, okay, that was the last question. Who is my coach? Write down their name. Do they have the proven system to struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less? Are they willing to help you get real with yourself? I just had a client write in and say that she loves my get real attitude, my get real focus, and that I don't sugarcoat things. She says that she's worked with other professionals before who they were real like flowery. I think that was the word she used. They were flowery, and it just doesn't help, you know? I mean, usually your family, they're the ones that tell you, "Oh, you're fine. Oh, you're what? You're 40 pounds overweight. Oh, you're fine. You're beautiful. Oh, you look great." You know, and it's just it's yeah, I mean, I'm sure your family loves you. I'm sure they care about you. I'm sure that they do. But when you have people telling you that and you're not happy with yourself, okay, it kind of doesn't it kind of help you stay in a place of denial and procrastination, and then the weeks just keep going by, the months go by. I mean, gosh almighty, here we're coming up on another holiday season already. It's the end of the summer, and we're going right into another holiday season. So, you know, you just got to look at what you want. So, yeah, let's wrap up this podcast here today. Make sure that you do head on over to my free 5-day e-course. Did I tell you about that already? I think I did. You can get that at fearlessfatloss.com/show-bonus. fearlessfatloss.com/show-bonus. Sign up for that there, and that will help you discover the answer to the question, is your mindset fit or fat? And discover what you can do about it. If you've never heard of a fat mindset before, if you haven't listened to any of my other podcasts, a fat mindset is a mindset grounded in FAT, fear attracting thoughts. That mindset will keep you fat. It's not any fun. Totally been there myself. Not any fun. So we covered quite a bit here in Get Real episode number 56 of the JoLynn Braley Show. And, you know, it's up to you what you're going to do now. You're the only one who can decide what the results are going to be in your life. Nobody else is holding you back. Nobody else is holding you down. Nobody else is standing in your way. It's all you, baby. And the good news about that is that means that nobody else has to change in order for you to get the body and the healthy relationship with food that you want. And that's a good thing. It would be horrible if it were true that other people were to blame for your problems. Because if that were true, that would mean that all of those people, all of those institutions, all of the whatever it is that anybody blames for their overweight and overeating, the fast food industry, whatever it is, if it were true that all of those things and people outside of you were to blame for your problems, then you would never be able to get what you want unless all of those things and all of those people outside of you changed. And that means that you would be completely powerless, and that you would be completely stuck, and that would really suck. So it's all up to you what you're going to do, and it's all up to you where you're going to be a year from now. Are you just going to still be listening to another one of my podcasts and still be overeating, still be binge eating, still be overweight? Or are you going to do something about it? You know, the quickest way to get the results you want is to work with a high-level, results-getting professional coach who has the proven system to help you get beyond your blind spots and help you get to the freedom that you could have with food and your weight. Help you get there as quickly as possible. All right? Be sure to tune in next week. Next week will be episode number 245 of the JoLynn Braley Show. And that topic is going to be how to know you have achieved permanent weight loss. Very interesting, especially if you're like everybody else who has the mistaken thought that you only know that you've gotten permanent weight loss after you have gotten to your goal weight and you've maintained it for 50 years, okay? That's actually incorrect, and I will explain full details next week on episode number 245 of the JoLynn Braley Show. So make sure that you are subscribed to my podcast in iTunes, or if you have found this on iHeartRadio or someplace else, make sure you're subscribed. If you are subscribed in iTunes, please give the JoLynn Braley Show a tip. It's totally free to do it, to put a tip in our tip jar. Here's how you do it. Leave us a rating and leave us a review. Share what your biggest aha is, the biggest thing that you've learned from this podcast show or from this episode even. And that would really help because it will help other people find this podcast. And you know how many millions of people out there are feeling totally horrible about themselves because they want to lose weight, but they can't stop eating. So if you rate the show and leave us your 5-star review, then you can help other people find this show. Hey, it's free. Why not do it? This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the kick-ass, amazing Inner Self Diet, the Inner Self Diet that always works, but it only works if you work it. That is my proven proprietary step-by-step system to struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. It ends the binge eating, ends the emotional eating, ends the drama, and it's pretty darn cool. Hey, I wish you your best life, living inside of your ideal body. Yay!